What do you think of Democrats calling for reparations, considering that they are the party of the Ku Klux Klan, the Confederacy? They instituted Jim Crow.
Yeah, I find this very interesting given the fact that one of the people who's calling for it is Kamala Harris.
Marianne Williamson says black people should get $100 billion in slavery reparations. Like, where do you stand on it?
Well, look, I think that we have got to address that. Again, it's back to the inequities. Look, America has a history of 200 years of slavery.
Mm-hmm.
We had Jim Crow. We had legal segregation in America for a very long time. People aren't starting out on the same base in terms of their ability to succeed. And so we have got to recognize that and give people a lift up.
And her father actually wrote an autobiography that her great-great-grandfather was actually a slaveholder in Jamaica. So it's a little bit ironic that that's the kind of people who are calling for reparations. And how would it work? I'm a white-skinned immigrant to the United States. I became an American 7 years ago. Do I have to pay reparations because of my skin color? I think it's racist. It's against what Martin Luther King said. You will not be judged by the color of your skin, but by the content of your character. It's fundamentally racist.
But the Democrats successfully brand the conservative side and the GOP and Donald Trump is a racist. Bernie Sanders, they're attempting to. They're always trying to.
But look at his
and their base believes it.
Donald Trump is more popular now, according to Gallup, according to the most reputable polling companies, than Obama was at the same time in his presidency, despite a 92% negative coverage by the media. So they're trying, but they're failing. And the more radical they get, the more they will lose middle America, and the more 2020 will be a shoe-in for conservative values.
But nonetheless, still 90% of black Americans typically vote Democrat. So what's the GOP doing wrong, or what's the problem? And when I go and speak to people in inner cities, they've never even really met a Republican half the time.
Yeah, I think there's an issue with the establishment GOP reaching out to ethnic groups, not just the black American community, but also the Latino community. It's an aspect of their outreach they really haven't invested in. But with new things such as Candace Owens' Blexit movement, with the fact that the president's popularity amongst black Americans has increased twofold in the last 18 months, these are very, very positive signs.
What do you think about the Democrats now making all these attempts to legalize infanticide?
There was a very contentious committee hearing yesterday when Fairfax County Delegate Kathy Tran made her case for lifting restrictions on third trimester abortions, as well as other restrictions now in place. And she was pressed by a Republican delegate about whether her bill would permit an abortion even as a woman is essentially dilating, ready to give birth. And she answered that it would permit an abortion at that stage of labor. Do you support her measure and explain her answer?
Yeah, and I wasn't there, Julie, and I certainly can't speak for Delegate Tran, but I would tell you, first thing I would say is this is why decisions such as this should be made by providers, physicians, and the mothers and fathers that are involved. There are, when we talk about third trimester abortions, these are done with the consent of obviously the mother, with the consent of the physicians, more than one physician, by the way. And it's done in cases where there may be severe deformities, there may be a fetus that's non-viable. So in this particular example, if a mother is in labor, I can tell you exactly what would happen. The infant would be delivered. The infant would be kept comfortable. The infant would be resuscitated if that's what the mother and the family desired. And then a discussion would ensue between the physicians and the mother. So I think this was really blown out of proportion. But again, we want the government not to be involved in these types of decisions. We want the decision to be made by the mothers and their providers. And this is why, Julie, that legislators, most of whom are men, by the way, shouldn't be telling a woman what she should and shouldn't be doing with her body.
Do they have that much power to manipulate the media that the Democrat base will eventually condone and advocate for this killing of newborn babies?
They're in trouble. A recent Marist poll noted that in a 5-week window, which included the Butcher of Richmond, Governor Northam's statement on infanticide, included the state of New York signing that bill that would allow babies to be murdered up until birth, there was a almost 20% increase in pro-life attitudes amongst Democrats in a 5-week period. So yeah, the Democrats, I think, have jumped the shark, and it's good for the culture of life.
Where can we find your show? I know you have a new radio show.
So I got a national radio show, coast to coast, every day, 3 to 6 Eastern time. We live stream, video stream at sebgorka.com. That's SEBGORKA. Or you can download the podcast at iTunes. It's called America First.